First thing we want to do is turn it on. Make sure it's good, it's on there, it's steady, looks good. Now we want to set it up. So we want to move this out. We want to even it up. We're going to try to establish one good cut one time, and I believe we can do that the way this rotor is. So we're going to tighten it up. Now the next thing you want to do, you want to use this thing right here. This is called a silencer band. This keeps all those vibrations and all those things that can cause chatter in the rotor from coming out through here. So you take that band, sorry, you move your light out the way. All right, take your band, move it up. There you go. Make sure it's around, all the way around. Looks nice and even. She's good to go. All right, let's turn it on. Now, first thing you want to do when you're going to turn the rotor, you want to move this in. Make sure it's on manual mode. You don't want it on slow or fast yet, because then you can't move it in. We're going to move it in the middle. We're going to do what's called a scratch test. So you loosen up the point here, move the bit in, let it scratch. We're checking to see if this rotor is warped. If you look, you can tell it's got a little bit of warping on both sides of the rotor if you look right there and on the other side. So now that we have this, we have the scratch test and it's touching, you want to set the gauge to 0, move it back a little bit. Same thing on the back side, move it back. Now we're going to rotate it in. We're going to go in. As you can see, the rotor's warped still. Once you get close to the edge of the rotor, you want to turn it back to 0. Our whole purpose of turning this is to go in just enough that we cover all the area that the pad's going to touch. So we're going to go in, getting close, get past the rust a little bit, and there you go. That's about where the pad's going to touch, the outside of the rotor and the inside. So now what you want to do, you just want to go a little bit at a time. I usually go about 1 notch, maybe 1.5 notches. We're going to go about 1.5 on this one. We're going to lock it in, make sure it's locked in. It's another thing that can mess up a rotor. Secondly, back here, you're going to move it in 2 notches, lock it in. Now, you have right here, you have what is a slow cut and a fast cut. You have to lift this up and move where you want to go. We're going to go with a slow cut because I believe we can achieve one good cut, and a slow cut's the best way. Slow cut is also your finish cut. That's the best way you want to get your rotor to look nice and even, nice and smooth the first time. Go slow cut. Takes a little longer to cut it, but the results are great. So we're going to let this turn. We're going to take a good look and see if we're starting to turn that warp out. And as you can see, it's starting to work pretty well. So we'll let that go and we'll come back to it here in a minute.